3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
Let's get into it, Jack.
All right, Eric.
3, 2. No, you're counting again. We went over this.
It's the birds. The birds distracted me.
It's very serene. I like the backdrop you've got, the screens, the beautiful sunshine, the birds chirping.
Yeah.
Actually, this time of the year, the birds and bees are having sex with each other or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know, but the cicadas are getting in on that threesome.
Oh man,
they're on their way.
Last time the cicadas came, I was dating this girl, and I was at her house, and her brother made egg rolls. He's like, I'm trying to make egg rolls because he wanted to be a chef or a cook or something. I was like, sure. He's like, you guys want to try them? I'm like, sure. And we're trying. Blah, blah, blah. And
no.
He told me that he put cicadas in them, and I still don't know to this day if he was telling the truth or not. Because that was
older brother or younger brother?
Younger brother. Younger brother. He was interesting. Like, he was a cool kid, but he was like, if you took punk and Rasta and mixed it together.
Like, No Doubt.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
Except he didn't look like Gwen Stefani.
No, he didn't.
Oh.
Not even a little bit.
It's disappointing.
No, but that was him. He was kind of, no, I think No Doubt's more like punk and ska. With the horns. He was more like if Bob Marley met
the Misfits.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was
the Ramones. Bob Marley and the Ramones were hanging out and had a musical love child.
You got it. That was his thing.
All right.
Yeah, he was wearing like dirty punk t-shirts and like Sanooks.
And smoking a big blunt.
Right. So, yeah, and he was very pale. So anyway, nice kid. Interesting.
But he can make a mean egg roll out of cicadas.
Yeah, I still don't know this day if it was cicada, and I'm just like, I couldn't try. I don't know. He told me, he's like, no, I'm just kidding. No, there's really cicada in it. No, I'm just kidding. No, there was cicada in it. And
you didn't open it and like look?
Yeah. So it was
too late now.
Yeah.
So you could actually ride that and just say, I've eaten cicadas.
I think I might.
I mean, it's kind of like cricket protein powder.
I heard they're full of protein.
Yeah, it's a thing.
As are most bugs, I guess.
Yeah, pound for pound, bugs are where it's at.
Maybe we just need to collect a bunch, grind them up, and sell a cicada protein supplement here at the gym. We'd make bank.
Are they protected? Are you allowed to do that? No, because they all die so fast, right? There's nothing really.
I imagine they're protected. Are they?
I don't know. Ask Genevieve or Kenna. They know all that stuff.
We'll just turn off the security cams. That way no one will know.
Yeah. Wait a second. We have a security cam?
No.
Oh, man. I need to stop doing that.
Remove teddy bear. I thought that camera that's like in the corner by the door here.
Yeah, the one that's not plugged into anything.
I know, but people still like, you guys have security cams? Like, well, yeah, like, you don't know what's going on here at night, so we got to make sure we just keep an eye on the place. I think some people still actually believe that thing works. So, anyway, that's what's going on. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hey, anytime. You got all dressed up for the occasion?
I did.
I'm all for it. Feeling good.
I love it. You're like a 14-year-old boy.
In many ways, yes.
Yeah. Somebody who's not wearing a t-shirt is instantly dressed up.
Exactly, right? Especially in the gym environment. Like,
yeah.
Or as soon as you put on pants.
Yeah. I'm just not wearing the t-shirt that I just sweated in.
Yeah.
Dad, where you go? You're all dressed up. Yep,
yeah.
I am all dressed up. You are correct.
All dressed up, fancy pants.
You're all going to need to leave the house now. You've been here for over a year, nonstop.
Well, it is, you could be celebrating. It is the Twinkies' birthday today.
They are 15 years old.
Can you believe it?
Whether I believe it or not, it's a fact. So, kind of like most things in the world.
Quite the analysis there, Jack.
Yeah.
What were you doing when you were 15? Do we want to know?
Swimming, rowing, going to high school. Same old.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Suburban white kid, man.
Not doing CrossFit.
No, should have been. Wish I had been. That would have
Yeah.
what? That was 90. Yeah,
Yeah.
91. When was I in ninth grade? 92. It was the spring of 92. So CrossFit was just a glimmer in Greg Glassman's eye in some Globo gym in Southern California, or Central California somewhere.
It's funny. I tell the teens all the time. I'm like, I know this makes me sound really old, but I wish I had this when I was your age. You know what I mean? Like, you don't realize how good you have it to have something like this.
The funny thing is, we did do a lot of this same sort of stuff. Like my swim coach, especially on the off season, because crew, what is it? We're at the end of April. So the rowing season was only maybe another, 3 weeks? Because this weekend would be what were called cities. And you would race all the city schools in Philly. And then the next weekend would be Stotesbury Regatta. And then the next weekend was nationals. And then unless you were like really, really good, that was it. So like middle of May, third week of May. And then after that, there was kind of nothing. So we'd link back up with our swim coach and start doing off-season training. And we would do like 200-meter repeats with push-ups, up downs, and like light dumbbell things on the deck.
Yeah.
And you do like 5 sets of that with like 2 minutes rest in between, kind of like a 5 rounds for time.
Something
But
like that.
it was more like pacing though. Like it was all, you were just interfering with the 200s, and to break it up and make it kind of fun. And it was at a outdoor pool and it was freezing. So she didn't want us to stay in the water that long. But yeah, so I mean, in a sense, that's the thing, that if you always go back to what Glassman did that was so revolutionary, he didn't invent any of this stuff. People had been doing, I mean, you can go back to the Bulgarians and the Eastern Europeans with their weightlifting and Pavel stuff and the interference and the push pull, like all that stuff was known. He just created the association to power output to fitness and placed fitness on a curve with health and sickness. And that's it. And then just said more work capacity, higher power output, higher intensity equals fitter. And now with just a stopwatch, I can measure and say, I'm fitter than you, AKA I'm healthier than you. Right. If that's the metric that you both agree upon, to say fitness is a manifestation of your health and it's on this continuum and it's defined by your work capacity. And so that's a pretty big deal. You know what I mean? Like it
was a game changer, I think.
Yeah, like as much as anybody wants to argue that he is a misogynistic racist who is the devil, sure, like I gotcha. But the science behind, and science being a observable, measurable, repeatable discipline, the science behind the foundation of what he's defined CrossFit measures, that's kind of a paradigm shift in the strength and conditioning world, because you can't, outside of, and it parlayed it into being able to be a sport, because now we can measure against each other and we could say that we're going to do the same thing, or even it can be like a recreational sport, like a golf. I would say even more so than like a basketball or a tennis, because you can't really, and maybe somebody can tell me otherwise. Maybe we could do another fitness field trip. How do you scale tennis if you and I are at distinctly different levels of play?
Right.
But I could totally scale golf, and like you could handicap me 6 strokes a hole if you're a pretty good golfer, and you have to start from certain set of tees, and I get to chip in from 100 yards out, all that stuff. You could scale it to where if I beat you and we've scaled it appropriately and it was real close, then you could say, hey, I legitimately beat you, and then vice versa on a CrossFit workout too, if it's scaled and modified effectively. So anyway, I don't know how we got down this road.
We're talking about teens having CrossFit.
Correct.
Yeah, it is.
None of the stuff is new. It's just its measurability.
Yeah.
That.
Well, I remember like I worked when I was in high school. I had a trainer, and he was old school bodybuilding guy, and he was a straight up like, you know, he was the do the leg press, do the curls, do the this and that. At the end of the day, it was a little bicep burner to finish off the day. And like physique wise, like, yeah, I was looking better, but knowing what I know now, like other than maybe being somewhat stronger, like it didn't really transfer to the basketball court.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, then I had a separate guy that I worked with for like plyometrics. And then later down the line, I was like, well, this is great, but it doesn't really like get me better at basketball. So then I ended up finding the separate coach that was strictly like, we met up at a court and we just drilled skills and drills. I was like, whereas this isn't as sports specific, it does get you stronger. And there's the strength and conditioning piece, and then making it much more, I think, efficient within an hour's time. Anyway.
Yeah, and again, in that hour, I still think it's funny where sort of the expectation that like a class should be an hour.
Yeah.
I think that was just because that's how long Glassman had the room for at the jiu-jitsu place. And so he had to get it done in an hour in the morning, and he had to get it done in an hour in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But there's only, right, like a class could be 46 minutes.
Yeah.
Or 103 minutes or 7 minutes. 7 minutes? That's ridiculous. Nobody can get, oh no, what did he say, 6 minutes? What is 6 minutes at 6 minute abs?
6 minute abs.
Aren't you afraid somebody's gonna come out with 6 minute abs?
You get the 7th minute for free. Yeah, it's funny if I'm coaching class and I, you know, whenever I get done early, I feel like I'm gypping the athletes of more time. I feel like I'm gypping them more me. And I don't know if that's one thing I have. If I finish, like, let's say we get through everything, it was a good day, we move, and we finish everything by, I don't know, 6 o'clock instead of 6:15. Like there's 15 minutes left that we could do with anything. And maybe I missed something, or maybe just everyone was that efficient. Everyone got their bars quick. Maybe we didn't need as much time to load or something like that. I feel like that I've gypped that person of 15 minutes, when really, if I go back to whenever I was taking a class, dude, I'd be stoked if we were done 15 minutes early. You know what I mean? If I got everything I needed out of it in 45 minutes instead of 60, I'm a happy camper. Anyway, so going down that. So, hey, speaking of CrossFit and getting it done and getting out of it what you put into it, RX month is coming to a close. Is today, so this comes out, is today last day? Shelly, shout out. Want to say hi?
Hi.
There she is.
I'll be back.
There she goes.
She didn't bring any cupcakes though, did she?
What'd you say?
Did you bring any cupcakes? Drew brought cupcakes.
I had a cupcake. I didn't share it.
She had a cupcake, she didn't share it.
It was
Which flavor did she have?
What flavor did you have?
lemon blueberry.
Lemon blueberry?
I had fruit.
Hey,
Oh.
did you know Shelly lives in the ocean? Because she's shellfish.
I see seashells down by the seashore.
She also does that.
Oh, I get it, because she didn't share her cupcake.
Yeah, that's right. They're really tiny. I wouldn't expect someone to share.
So the theory is that however many, so let's say you eat a handful and you give out a couple and there's like 4 left in that package. If you've already eaten 4, then 8 make up one whole cupcake. If you've only eaten 2 and there's 4 left, then 6 make up one cupcake. If you've eaten 5 and there's 3 left, or let's say if you've eaten 5 and there's 5 left, it's your lucky day. 10 make up one cupcake. There's a metric, there's a sliding algorithm that however many left are in the package, if you add that number to however many I've eaten up to that point, Kale does the quick math, and that's how many make up one cupcake. It's to give me the pass to be able to finish them off and not feel like I've eaten more than one cupcake.
So
one regular, real size cupcake.
So if I really wanted to, this full dozen could equal one cupcake.
1 dozen, that's one cupcake.
Good.
Yeah.
My fitness pal.
fitness cupcake in my mouth.
Oh, they're paleo too. They're also paleo because I said so.
Yeah, you just knock them with a club and drag them across the street. They're paleo.
If I just throw a little sand on top of my shirt, it'll work.
Yeah.
Just make it look pretty. So anyway, but yeah, so this coming out today, tomorrow being May. This is
Friday's
Saturday.
yeah, Friday's the 30th.
Yeah. So RX month in the books. Fun experiment.
It was. How'd you like it?
I enjoyed it. I like from a coaching perspective, I liked being able to give people the choice of saying what's heavy for you, instead of like we've talked about before, that it says 135/95 and someone immediately goes, well, I can't lift that. Or it's like, or if they start warming up the workout, they're like, ugh, maybe there's already that like mental block of I'm never gonna be that strong. But having the marker of it's medium heavy, I think it made it a lot easier as a coach to focus more on watching people move, and as they put the weight on the bar that they choose, making sure they move well, as opposed to this extra little roll that does add up over time. Well, what should I use? What should I use? Or what should I use? Knowing that this particular weight was originally written. So as a coach, I've enjoyed it a lot.
Cool.
It gives a little bit more freedom to check with themselves, and a little bit more takes a little bit off of us to focus more on coaching instead of trying to figure out numbers. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, totally.
As
Did
an
you have
athlete,
any like oh go ahead.
no, go ahead.
You go.
As an athlete, I think those same things I liked. It was a cool challenge because I think it was also not really. I mean, you and I have been doing this long enough that we can look at a workout and have an idea, even if it just says medium heavy, have an idea of what it should feel like, how it should go, plus the guidance from, Pat and Taz and workout, like this workout should take X amount of time. Well, we look at the rep scheme, we look at the movements, we look at the time frame, we can look and be like, all right, these cleans are in this workout. Say I don't know the weight. I know it's saying you should be able to do this in 2 to 3 sets. So medium to heavy is probably 155, right? I think sometimes I like that the challenge of going heavier. Like you may go heavier than what was intentionally, knowing yourself a little bit better. Maybe you go heavier, which is always fun, or what feels heavy. But I liked it more from the other end too. Like I don't think I ever felt like I think there were moments that I felt like I went too light. And then there were definitely moments I felt like I went too heavy. But I think if there was a weight written on the board for something, I may have gone too light, as opposed to that test of going too heavy, and you kind of find yourself in between. Does that make sense? Kind of all over the map. I don't know. It makes sense in my head.
What was the biggest hurdle as a coach? What did you find people were most reticent about?
The conversation of like people would still say, but I totally scaled that. Well, did you though? Like you finished it in, I don't know, the sweet spot was 6 to 9 minutes.
69 minutes.
Oh, Jack, 6 to 9 minutes. We just talked about this. You barely even need a full hour. Like the sweet spot is finished in 6 to 9 minutes, and X person finished it in 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Yeah, but I really scaled that. Well, did you though? I mean, you hit the sweet spot. You were always moving. You were moving well. You chose a weight that let you do this movement the way we had talked about in the whiteboard brief. You maybe you biked instead of running because biking's better for you, blah blah blah. So they still change things up a little bit, and still having that conversation of like, we're looking for a particular stimulus and you found it. You hit the nail right on the head. You achieved what it was we're looking for out of that workout. So therefore you didn't scale. So we switch some things up a little bit. You still hit what we want to do. Yeah, but still, like I feel like biking's easy. All right, I can't, like at some point it's like, we talked about, I think last week, like at some point people have already kind of put up that wall. Like they already have their mind made up, like this is where I stand. And despite what I say to you, you've already decided like, well, you're not busting through that wall or bring that wall down. And so I think that was the biggest challenge, is getting people to understand like, hey, it's still like in the purpose of this month, like that is RX. What you did is RX because you achieved exactly what we wanted you to achieve in this workout, period.
Did you find that people would have questions even after like a really long? So we remove the weights, we kind of offer the specific intention. You go over the movements, and then you kind of get the 1,000-yard stare. And did you find like people were still kind of felt the need to ask a question, even if that question served no function other than just, I should ask a question here. I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah.
Where do babies come from?
Yeah, right. It's like the I love the, like, what was it? Monday's workout had the push press. It had the push presses in it. And so I was like, so the push press, what are the weights, medium to heavy? Push press. It says push press. Well, can I push jerk? I mean, no.
Sure, if you want to, I guess.
You could, but it says push press. Like in my mind, that's like, it says wall balls. Oh, wall balls. Can I bike instead? Like that's in my mind.
Sure. I mean,
Sure.
it's not
Sure.
the same. It's not the same workout, but I guess we can do that. Yeah.
And I think sometimes that was people like overthinking it, like trying to make more sense of it. Well, I mean, if I can, it says medium heavy, so it doesn't give me a weight, but it says push press. Could I anyway? So there was little things like that, and then the occasional like, I don't think you were actually listening, or I just said so much, or you had this question in your head while I was talking, and you couldn't focus on what I was saying because you were so intent on asking that question, which is something I do all the time. So yeah, those still popped up.
Did you have the flip side of that, the inverse? You know what I mean? Like the person who kind of would always have no idea what to do, and now they're kind of like, I don't know, making moves. And I have a couple folks in 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. who just, this is a great month, you know, totally different engagement level of like understanding around what they're supposed to do. Questions are a lot more, or sort of their clarification rather than like, why don't you just tell me the name of the movie you'd like to see?
Yeah. I think so. Like, I think going into May, that question will answer itself too.
Good
Like
point.
people, there's some people I feel like maybe they've kind of figured some stuff out. You know, maybe someone who usually used a 20-pound wall ball and found that like, oh, well, that workout we did, the one last Tuesday, the sprints and the wall balls, because it was what, 12 wall balls, 200-meter sprint for 7 minutes. And someone was like, hey, like try to go unbroken on those wall balls. Well, someone who typically uses a 20-pound ball went with a 14 and was like, hey, actually, like I can do big sets of wall balls with 14, whereas that 20, I probably would have ended up breaking them up in like 7 and 7.
Yeah.
So my hope is that like when someone sees wall balls again, or maybe sees, you know, a rep scheme, they kind of look at the rep scheme a little bit more and think to themselves like, well, this rep schemes per round is a little bit bigger, so maybe I want to, because wall balls are something you should not necessarily be breaking up into small sets, right?
Yeah, because you got to bend over, pick it back up. Singles don't make sense on wall balls, but fives maybe, right? Five's about as small as you want to go.
Yeah, and that all depends on the workout, right? So like, yeah, if you think about it too, like the amount of time it takes you to do 5 wall balls, the amount of time you're probably standing around and resting, you're probably resting more than it's taking you to do 5 wall balls.
Right, like that's sort of one of those, like if you're going to do them in 5s, you don't get to rest.
Yeah.
The ball drops, you got to take a breath, pick it right back up, go. If you're going to do 50s, well, then maybe you could take 15, 20 seconds rest. But
Yeah.
I would argue if you're doing 50s and then still taking a minute rest, you probably should have been doing 5s or lighter ball.
Yeah. So my hope is that these conversations, if anything, have given people, they're still probably going to ask questions about like what weight I should use or how far I should run that. So the loading side of it.
Right.
But I think from the like, when you see the movement and maybe you see the rep scheme, they know they have a little bit more understanding of, oh, when I see this movement, toes to bar, for example, when I see this movement show up in a workout, he was consistently saying, do what you need to do that keeps you on the bar for X amount of reps. and keeps you moving, yada, yada, yada. And so maybe I'm hoping those sort of conversations sunk in and stayed there. So then when it's, I see 12 toes bar on the workout. Well, I don't have 12 toes bar. What am I supposed to do? Or I don't have toes bar. What am I supposed to do? And so,
God, you probably shouldn't have come today.
right. My shoulder hurt.
I always think about that. Oh, it's deadlifts today. My back is killing me. You probably shouldn't have come.
I say that jokingly all the time now. So I'm like,
Be careful, man. Some people might take it. They might not understand the joke. You know what I mean?
I definitely make sure that like my audience and I are on the same page.
Right. God, when Ryan told us that story, I was just like, that's awesome. Like that's. Hey, thank you for making that really, really easy for me. I was trying to figure out if I wanted to stay here or not.
Yeah,
I know my path.
If I know Ryan too, it was probably like the 5 a.m. class.
Yeah.
So glad I got up at 4:30 this morning to get dressed to drive all the way over here just for you to say you should probably go home.
Yeah. That's awesome. Anyway, so moving forward, like, do you how do you feel about there never being prescribed weights on the board again? Even right, because you don't with the teens.
No, I mean, I'm curious to ask people: did they miss them? Like, how many people actually missed having the more explicit? The loads is, I think, the one that always is much more clear. But I mean, I don't miss them.
Yeah, like even to the point where like we could probably even, because the heavy, medium, heavy, light, blah blah blah, all that with that, like I said, that was just a bridge to move us away from the prescribed load outside of a benchmark, either named workout, hero wad, some sort of standard, fight gone badish like benchmark.
Yeah,
I would be game of just not even suggesting if it's heavy, medium, or light, right? Like just. It's 5 rounds. If we say it should be about, so let's say it's 10 hang power cleans, 15 box jumps, 200-meter run, 7 rounds for time. Do a little Eric math. How long should that? Oh, wait, sorry. I'll give it to you. That should take somewhere between 14 to 18 minutes.
You said 10 hang power
10
cleans.
hang power cleans, 15 box jumps, 200-meter run. Somewhere between 14 to 18 minutes.
So I would immediately say in 7 rounds.
7 rounds for time.
So I would say like those hang power probably. Immediately I thought, what you said, wait, box jumps and running.
Hello, shins.
Those hang power cleans, like more like a medium, like something maybe you do unbroken, but might have to break up into a couple sets. The run is one of those, going to the run, like 200 meter. You said 200 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one, I think, depending on if you're a runner or not, that's either a break. That might be like a chance for you to recover and push the box jumps. But the box jump I'm for 15. Are you thinking 30 or are you thinking 24?
24-20.
Yeah, standard 24, like standard 24-20.
Shoot, we wouldn't even put a thing on there. Just says box jumps.
It's box jumps. I mean, I almost want to
say.
But
all I'm telling you is 7 rounds should be something between 14 to 18 minutes. How heavy should my barbell be? How high should my box be? Should I run the whole 200 meters?
I'm about
a 6.5 to 7 minute miler.
And I'm using you're my athlete.
Yeah.
I'm telling you're probably going anywhere from maybe 115, 135 on the hanging power cleans, 24-inch box jump.
Okay.
And the 15 box jumps, like you could, and this is me knowing you, like the box jump, like you have a pace that you can hold on to and just go. Like 15 box jumps for anyone, I think should be think of it like burpees, like just find something you can always be moving.
So how long should the run take me?
The run will take you, if you're really moving, 45 seconds to a minute.
Okay, so we say a minute.
Yeah.
And then box jumps, 15 box jumps. How long should that take?
45 seconds.
Okay, so minute 45. And then if I got 10 hang power cleans and I want to be in 14 minute for 7 rounds, I'm already at a minute 45 for a
You said
round.
14, you said
14 to 18.
14 to 18.
So
Oh,
I
maybe
should
lighter
be,
than maybe 95. So that barbell's
yeah. So that's the game
Yeah,
that I think that's the next move with athletes, is to start get them thinking of like, all right, it's a triplet. 7 rounds, I know. He told me I should be somewhere between 14 to 18.
Yeah.
So I've got about 30 seconds wiggle room from my fastest round to my slowest round.
Yeah.
So if my fastest round is 2 minutes, I'm at 14 minutes. So if I'm like, okay, well, I only have like 30 seconds wiggle room, my run's going to be a minute, really, by the time you get out, you get back, you get set, whatever. With box jumps, like you said, I agree, about 3 to 4 seconds a rep. So let's just make it on the slow side. Let's say they also take a minute. I'm already at 2 minutes now. So if I'm at 30 seconds, that's
Those
3.5.
power cleans should definitely be
So those
unbroken.
power cleans need to be unbroken, and they need to be less than 3 seconds a rep, maybe at the tail end 3 seconds. So I would almost say, like you were that, and that's where, oh, the light bulb comes on. Oh, this should be a light barbell. Oh, I get it. And it's 10, and it's a hang, meaning you don't want to put it back down because then you got to put it back up. Like, okay, 75 to 95 for the guys, 55 to 75 for the women. Like that sort of, or like if you're Mel McCamley, she's probably doing 85 pounds and the rest of us are doing like 75 pounds.
Right.
So,
yeah. Oh, Mel McCamley. For Mel McCamley, you're like Trevor.
yeah. I've been enjoying scaling my weights and my heights and my effort, whatever Mel gets at 5 a.m. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do the same weight she did. And I'm going to try and beat her. And I usually miss it by like either 10 seconds or so or a round.
Damn it.
Yeah.
It's so humbling. It's very humbling.
But yeah, right. Like that's sort of the game. And anyone who's listening, right? Like I think that's the next move of like, you look at something, this feeds right back into the basic methodology. And again, this is the part about CrossFit that it isn't revolutionary, that, you know, sports have been doing this, you know, any sport that has a combination of movements and is 4-time, like a general 4-time type of sport or training methodology, you've got competing variables. Always start with the variable that is going to be the most dependent or most most dependent. So that run is the longest pole in the tent. Like for most people, that's going to be the longest thing you're doing is the 200-meter run. Then the next longest thing are those box jumps. And for most people too, like they're the scariest because they either can't jump high. This would be a great opportunity for somebody that's like, well, 15 box jumps on a 20-inch box for me, I can't do that. And so 7 rounds at 15 reps, that's high volume. That's 105 box jumps. Yeah, so somebody would say, well, should I scale the height or should I scale the volume? If you were their coach, what would you tell them?
I would probably tell them, you said 15 at that height.
But should I scale the height or should I scale the volume?
I would scale the volume first.
How come?
Just because they said I could 15 at that height. Like in that context, it sounds like 15 is a lot at that height. Not that the height is too much for 15.
No, but there is no height. We don't have a prescribed height. We don't have a prescribed load. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying 7 rounds of 15 box jumps. If you look at that workout as programmed, what's the priority?
Time.
It's task priority. But I'm saying like, what is like 105 box jumps? Like Karen at 150 wall balls. Karen could easily be 100 wall balls. Do you know what I mean? Like that workout at 100 wall balls is going to smash you in the face. It's like today's workout. It smashes you in the face. Like it's 100 reps of anything. So why the fuck did they make it 150 wall balls? Because it's like, you just like, oh, it's like JT, the push-ups, ring push-ups, handstand push-ups workout, right? Like that's just dumb. Well, it's dumb because it's all interference. So a single modality of the wall balls, 150, it's designed, don't care who you are, 150 wall balls in a row, you're freaking smoked. And it's like, God, that sucked. So 105 box jumps split across 7 rounds. The idea is I want you to get the volume. So
Yes.
if somebody's like, well, I just can't do 15
I
box
gotcha.
jumps at that height. It's like, cool, no problem. I want you to do 15 box jumps.
I
Pick
gotcha.
something that you can do 15 times jumping. Is it a plate? Is it jumping over this line? Is it jump and clap my hand? Jump and clap my hand? Jump and clap my hand? That's personal training. Jump and clap my hand. Jump and clap my hand.
Yeah.
Right. And then that leaves, right? Then, and you did it perfectly. Like that left you to the last thing is that barbell. Everybody, when they come into it, the first thing, you did it too. The first thing, what's the first thing we want to do? Well, how much on the barbell? What should the barbell be? What should I, well, be like, whoa, you're distracted. You're distracted by the shiny object. That barbell is the least important movement in that little triplet. And 9 times out of 10, they are. It's the same thing with like Jackie. Jackie's all about those fucking pull-ups at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's 50 thrusters. It's
the row
hard.
and the thrusters there just to basically interfere with that last 30.
That's right. And then it's really all about those idiots that they're not idiots. The inexperienced people who blow themselves up on the row.
Yeah.
Right? They come out and they go like 10, 15 seconds faster than they should on that 1,000 meter. They hit that barbell and they hit the 35th, usually 36th rep on the thruster.
Yeah.
And then they got to put it down. And all that time that they built, all that time that they, bought with that really fast row just ticks away. And us turtles, we just go right by them on the thruster. And then you hit the bar for the pull-ups. Those things aren't 30 unbroken. Forget about it.
I remember one time we did Jackie in the garage and you had us go in waves.
Did we erg it or did we run it? Was it running Jackie or did we row?
We erged it. We erged it. And it was one of those, like, it was this fight not to, so like I was with AD and he went first. And so then it was like, as soon as they're done, you go.
Yeah.
So it was like, as soon as he's done, then partner 2 goes. And you have to fight so hard not to want to try and chase that person down. And it's like, so I remember coming out of the row pretty fast. I was like, stop it. Don't. Because I think he came out pretty fast. on the row. And I was like, no, just trust. I don't remember if I caught him or not. I don't think I did.
Yeah.
But I just remember, but that's even that little test there. It's like,
that's awesome.
Up on the road. Don't PR your 1-day row today.
Yeah. It's the fastest 1,000 ever. Oh, wait, how many thrusters do I have left?
Yeah.
That's a good call. Yeah, totally. So I think that's what I would like to see moving into May is, and I'm sure I'll miss some because WUO puts weights, they put suggested loads. And I'm sure there'll be some times when I, translate it, do it over. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to be told what to do every now and then. Like I'll go to restaurants and I'll definitely like see if they'll modify a meal from time to time. And then there's other times it's like, hey, however it comes out, it's cool. I'm just happy I'm not cooking. So whatever you want to give me, I'll eat it.
Be hungry, put in mouth.
That's right. And so it's sort of that, I think being comfortable as, deliverers of this stimulus and then also as receivers of the stimulus, being comfortable both having to figure out, well, what do I want to do here today? And then other times being like, you know what, just tell me what to do. I'm just cool. But if we let ourselves and we let our whole, let the community kind of get into the habit of just always being told what to do, what happens when they go to another gym somewhere? Or like, you know what I mean? Like it's anything out of balance or anything one side or the other of the spectrum, I think is detrimental to the routine. That's the routine is the enemy. So that's what I've liked. I've liked that it has forced us to rethink the way we understand this whole concept of RX, make the athletes rethink it. And then just open up options for people.
I even liked thinking of yesterday. So I did yesterday's workout, the step up. So like originally intended barbell on back, right? But it's a loaded step up. It's a loaded step up. And I noticed my knees, for whatever, I don't know what I did. My knees, like, it almost feels like swollen, like tight.
Hey,
I don't know.
so I think it was the warm up. I don't know if you were doing the warm up with your, did you
Yeah.
do it before you're doing it with your classes or did you do it after
The warm up or the workout?
the whole workout?
I did it after my classes.
So I did, and were you demoing some of the warm up stuff?
Yeah.
Dude, there were a couple times on that warm up where it tweaked my knees, and
Okay.
I had the exact same feeling. I did the workout, and today my knees, I cleaned them up, like I banded them. And sorry, I
Yeah.
totally interrupted your story, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I thought it was the step ups too. Like I told people, like I hate these fucking movements. I don't know.
Well, I was feeling. It's funny. I was feeling it before. Like I noticed it when I was as the day was going. I'm like, why does my knee feel like it's swollen?
Did you do the dubs and the rope climb workout?
Yeah.
So it might be that too,
Yeah.
because I felt it.
I'm wondering if it was the dubs and just
Yeah.
the combination of that. So it could have been, but
So anyway, so you were feeling awesome. So did you modify it?
so what I was doing was I was doing the barbell, and I found even with the barbell on my back, I would lean forward a little bit.
Yeah.
And so then I would shift my weight forward and feel it in my knee a little bit more. I was like, that doesn't feel good. So I just went dumbbells down at my side, and it let me sit back more, sit taller. Felt so much better. And if anything, I felt it more like in my hamstrings, my posterior chain, for example. Like I felt it so much more back there. And I was like, oh, I'm so like,
Yeah.
and I was like, so, it's barbell on back RX, but really loaded step up, hitting it
Exactly.
all the right places and pain free. That feels RX to me. And so that's where,
Yeah.
like, it was just even a weightlifting day, which that was, it's really hard not to RX a weightlifting day. But because I think if that one was like, if we were doing a back squat day, and I know like someone has trouble getting in the, or maybe it's getting over the shoulder. Anyway,
Maybe their shoulder hurts or something. He can't hold it
Yeah.
here, but they could.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a front squat. You're still squatting. We're still
Yeah. Or
squatting.
goblet squat with a kettlebell or something.
Yeah.
So that,
anything.
yeah, like that idea of we just changed the prescription. If they're gonna log it on the written workout, this is sort of what I told the Hero WOD last week with Aaron.
Mhm.
I said Aaron is a named workout. It's a Hero WOD, and so within Sugar WOD, it is logged as a Hero workout, and so Sugar WOD doesn't know. Did we talk about this last week
I don't know if we talked about it.
in
Did
the
we?
meeting maybe or something? But like Aaron, if I log it and I log like it took me, I don't know, 12 minutes.
Mhm.
Right. And I log it, and Sugar WOD will give me the confetti, and I come back 6 months and I go, oh, I did it RX. And I take no notes. I have no context. I just mark it RX, and maybe I put an emoji smiley face, and I do it again, and I do it RX, and it takes me 45 minutes. And I'm like, I'm so unfit. I go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And it's like,
4 to 5 days a week. I've been eating,
right.
and I'm just
So I told people, I was like, this is one outside of RX month. If you're going to market RX, that's fine within RX month. Just make sure you write really clear and concise notes of why you're marking it RX. And then same thing, if you mark it scaled, it's totally fine in the spirit of RX month. Make sure you make that in the notes. Like if this wasn't RX month, or if whatever, I'd be marking this. I did it RX in the spirit of RX month, but for the sake of logging, I'm marking it scaled, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool because that can be confusing because we're talking about the same thing, but really all we're talking about is how do I communicate to the 6-month me 6 months in the future? That's it. So that 6 months from now me can look at what I've done and say, all right, what should I do today? It's using the past as the guide to inform what do I want to do today in order to maintain or improve my current physical fitness state. That's it. And so RX and scaled are simply context or signifying labels, context driving, signifying labels that tell you in shorthand how you accomplished something. So it's just cutting out some of the need for notes, because if it's Grace at 135 and I did it RX, all I have to do is put my time and I would know. Now, if I really am concerned or curious, I would say, all right, I did it in 5s until the last 10. And then, I got exhausted. So I went singles for the last 10. And this was, the best I've ever felt. Next time, maybe I'll try 3s and hold it across or something, right? Like I would, and again, it's just notes to my future self of, and I slept really great last night. Diet's been on point. Things are really locking and loading. I'm feeling great. 4 or 5 days a week is awesome. 6 months in the future, I had a baby. I didn't have the baby. Maybe I'm married to somebody and she had the baby because physically I couldn't have the baby. I don't know if you know that, Eric, if that's how.
We have a baby together again.
Okay.
It's not uteri, it's uterus. It takes 2 to tango.
Gotcha.
And
Well,
make
maybe
it-
not unless the lady got artificially inseminated. And then like John Travolta, I met her in the cab as she was driving to the hospital. And like, now I'm the pseudo father for this child that isn't even mine. All kinds of things happening here.
I will say, if I can put it in the context of a partner workout, though, yes, we did it together. But if there's 100 burpees, you're probably doing
99 of them.
I'm doing the one.
Actually, I didn't do a single burpee. I just clapped really, really loud. Well done. Those were really good burpees. Now everyone's gonna like burpees so much more now. But in the end, right? Like all that to be said, if my fitness has taken a hit, then the notes I took in the past helped me guide like, oof, I really thought I was going to be doing it that way, but I'm not even going to do 135 today on this redo of Grace. I'm doing it at 115, or I'm using, something else, or I'm just going to ride the bike for the next 5 minutes. That's cool. Yeah. I'm going to do wall balls. Said no one ever, except Joe. But yeah, so I think that's my takeaway of the RX month is that language matters. I still like the concept of RX and scaled. I thought maybe this would like wean me off of wanting to write like what RX should be and what scaled should be. It doesn't. It did definitely reshape or maybe round off the edges of like I always liked the idea of putting prescribed weights because I think the prescribed weights help give people the guidance of the intention. But what I've realized by taking them away is that's not true. What they actually do is I think, as you said, they immediately create an obstacle for a lot of people. For some people it does. It gives them, because if they've been doing it long enough, or even maybe they know themselves as an athlete. But I think for the majority of the people, it's immediately I can't do that. It's like, that's not the point of it. So take it away. And I think actually even taking away the medium, heavy, light, it puts a little bit, not more work, but more requirement or opportunity to be more explicit with the intention. And then sort of the intention of this workout is 14 minutes. And we're going to make it a 5-rounder because 7 rounds is just stupid on that workout.
Yeah,
we're going to make it 5 rounds. It should be somewhere between 12 to 15 minutes. So some quick math, that's about 2 minutes a round. Yeah. It's going to take me 2 minutes to run that 200. Awesome. You're not running the 200 today, right? Like, and then even in the warm up, that's a great thing to do that Hinshaw move of I'm going to start a clock and we're going to use this first 10 minutes to warm up the run. I want everyone just to run for 30 seconds straight out. When you hear me scream at the top of my lungs, I want you to turn around, make it back before the end of the minute. Right? Like you can run as slow as you want the first 30 seconds out. You can run as fast as you want, whatever it is. We're going to do this 5 times. And you're going to figure out where is the right turnaround for you that your run takes a minute. Now, if you get somebody like me, Luis, Brian, Roger, Shannon Corey, that are fast runners and can maybe they're running further than a 200 meter in this workout. So, right, like there's kind of the cool thing too of it by not putting that very specific guidance, you actually give more opportunity to both scale up and scale down, or I would argue dial in the right prescription for the right athlete, for that athlete to hit and maximize their fitness gains.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I still very much like, for the purpose of, if we're using a workout and a stopwatch as our measurement of our fitness, then having it for benchmarks in particular, whether it's a hero watt or a girl or whatever, having that prescribed weight for the purpose of the benchmark, as opposed to this one day it's this, one day it's that, one day it's this, one day it's that. If anything, it gives me that tool to know, am I actually getting fitter? Because I know that with this benchmark, I am going to retest it at some point.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like I'm definitely not for like abolishing RX, but
Right.
it has,
But
I think plenty of times it has great value, and then other times, like you said, it's just an obstacle that kind of gets in the way of RX, if anything.
So wait, are you saying it's not just a black and white answer, that it's kind of a nuanced conversation, and that it requires collaborative effort between the coach and the athlete to like figure out where we need to meet them and where they need to meet us so that we can all get the most out of that situation?
There you go.
Oh, that's so weird. Dang it. I thought you could just tell me what to do and then it would just magically happen, like that pill that the doctor gave me and made everything better.
Was yours a suppository too?
Are those considered pills? If you take it anally, is it still considered a pill?
I don't know if it's a hard pill to swallow is the
Oh,
question.
bam! Oh, man, I teed that up for you and you nailed it. Home run. Home run. Well done. And do you really want to swallow it after it's been up my butt? I think that's going to be the description for this week's episode. Suppositories and
suppositories are hard to swallow.
Suppositories are hard to swallow, folks. RX month is over.
Oh my gosh. Did I tell you my uncle took a Viagra and got stuck in his throat?
Oh no.
Yeah, had a stiff neck for hours.
God. Well, did I tell you I kind of took too much of my Viagra last week?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was the hardest week I've had.
So you know what's funny? So that I didn't put the joke on me and Viagra, I talked about someone else, but you straight up said, I take Viagra all the time.
It's because I'm over 40, my friend.
Oh my gosh.
You'll get there too. You'll understand when you're older.
Yeah. I can tell during mobility you looked a little stiff.
Yeah. That was good. that pigeon stretch gets me every time.
Oh man.
Just can't get my leg through.
Okay.
All right, so Viagra is my gratitude this week. There you go. That's it. I'm done. So I actually, all joking aside, I was out at Mobian 3. This is like 2005. We hadn't left yet from a second deployment. And one of my fucking guys, he was older. Like he was a E6, E5, made E6 on deployment. But he was older. He was in his late 30s. And he, for those unfamiliar with the ranks in the Navy, E5s are usually like 23, 24 years. They're young, because if you've been in the Navy since you were 18 and you've made rank pretty quickly, especially if you're in the EOD community, you can make E5, E6 in like 6 years, 5 years. So your E5s, E6s are like 23, 24, 25. Other communities or other warfares, maybe they're a little bit older. But like there were chiefs, there were EOD guys that were making chief, which is E7, like you're senior enlisted at that point, who weren't even 30 yet. Like it was, there were people in the community who weren't real happy about it, because you had a sailor who was pretty young, but yet has all this responsibility at like 28, 29 years old, which chuckle. I mean, as a lieutenant, you're 27, 26, 27. So yeah. You're not much older either. And here you are, a lieutenant, like, making life and death decisions for an entire team. I digress. This guy was older, late 30s, E6, and he just made E6, hadn't put it on yet. And he's talking about, they were down in Mexico or somewhere, and he had gotten some off-market Viagra, and he was going to take it because his girlfriend was coming into town and he was super excited. And I just looked at him, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would she's like, yeah, man, sir. And I'm like, okay, first off, stop talking to me. Stop telling me this because I'm going to have to tell somebody else and you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't take illegal drugs that aren't prescribed to you. Don't do that. Second, I can't believe that's good for you because I know you're going to do it because you're an idiot and you're going to do it anyway. But please make sure like your girlfriend knows where the hospital is and take you. And if something happens, because I can't believe it's going to be good for you. He comes in Monday morning and he was like, it just made me really sick to my stomach and nothing really changed and it was dumb. And I'm like, you're a fucking idiot.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. But I've heard of other scenarios where like guys take it that aren't supposed to take it and they have real problems. Like they can't come down off of it. And it like their Johnson is just like rock solid for like 12, 14, 15 hours and they can't pee. And like, oh yeah, like it's not a good thing. So as much as my gratitude is Viagra this week, I have absolutely no idea what that feels like, or if I do not have a prescription for it, nor have I ever taken it. I'm grateful for the fact that it just gave us 5 minutes of world-class elite podcasting content. Thank you, Viagra.
Oh, I just got it's weird. I just got a text message from Jenny from Gym Lord. She said, never mind.
Never mind.
Weird. It's like, how
So
did she
strange.
know?
How, man, they are on top of shit.
Oh man. Cool. Mine is I don't know. Mine is so yesterday there were so about when the pandemic stuff started to hit, there were fee was 2.5, and this time last year like playgrounds were all shut down and like
I remember, yeah.
And it was
I remember you saying that they were shut down.
Yeah, it was stupid. Anyway, and that was about the time that like that's when Fee is really starting to like interact with other kids and sure enough, like there's the playground in our neighborhood. Like the playground in our neighborhood was roped off, and it made me really mad. And maybe sometimes I just went underneath the rope anyway, and we played.
I remember that one picture of like her like holding onto the fence from the outside or something, and yeah, that was
so anyway, and it was so recently as people I guess get more comfortable and stuff. I mean the playgrounds have been open or whatever, but especially in our neighborhood. And there's a couple kids that we know in the neighborhood that we've hung out with a few times. There's a couple kids who just moved into the neighborhood.
Do any of them have it? Do any of them have a unibrow?
Maybe the one. She's really sweet though. But yesterday there were like 12 kids down at the playground. Kids I had no idea were in our neighborhood, and it's just there were kids I had no idea were even in our neighborhood. But I think just people getting more comfortable, and maybe that's what it is, or maybe it just was like perfect time. But yeah, there were like 12 kids. Some I've seen before, some I haven't. All playing the playground yesterday, and it got me excited because I'm like, oh man, there's so many kids in our neighborhood now, and I'm so excited for Fee, and I'm so excited for like, sometimes going to the playground when it's just us, like is fun, but it's also I think she gets bored with me because I don't know, I have trouble getting down the slide because it's made for kids and not full grown adults, and or it's like I just go down the slide, it's like, all right, I'm at the bottom before I even leave. So I don't know, I guess I'm not sure what it is my gratitude is other than like there's a bunch of kids in our neighborhood and Fee has playmates that I don't have to, if I just want to walk out the door and go outside, there's kids. Of course, there's this one girl, Amelia, who she's been, they go sneak behind the bushes and change clothes.
Oh.
Like they change clothes, like all the way down in the underwear. They completely,
all right.
I found out like they're both like naked putting on each other's clothes. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we're going to have to give those back, which is very difficult because one of them was like a shirt with like Elsa plaster on the front. I have to like sneak that away when she's not looking. But anyway, I don't know. I think I'm grateful for kids playing.
Or you could just coordinate with Amelia's parents, and when you buy new clothes for Fee, the parents and like you guys could just all buy the same outfits.
That is true. Of course, also Amelia is like a year older than but Fee's already like as tall as her. I was like, maybe we could talk about hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you got options there. You get right. There's all kinds of ways to skin that workout, my friend.
Yeah.
There's no prescribed execution.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, I think it was excited to see all these kids in our neighborhood that I didn't even know existed.
So I only say that from experience where until Colin became a grown man and is now larger than his father, taller than his father.
Using that you're kind of playing it fast and loose with that word man there.
Yeah, he is a grown man. Like not emotionally, but I mean Drew isn't either.
Right. Physically.
So I mean, really, or any of us really. I mean, we're all 12-year-olds inside forever. I'm speaking of the male of the species.
It reminds me of something else I'll share with you.
But for the longest time, it didn't really, like, we had most of Colin's socks and he had most of the twins. And there was like, there would be a towel in the closet and I'd be like, I don't remember having this towel. And I'd be like using it, or like we go on vacation and Kayla would be like, oh, that's our towel. And I'm like, oh, nice. Hey, Colin's wearing my t-shirt. You know what I mean? Because the boys would have stolen it from like my laundry and then they, whatever. And so, but now it kind of doesn't work because none of us can wear his clothes because he's so damn big. So it changed. But yeah, for the longest time, like our households, I do now see like Coleman clothes in our house. Because they're all this, and now they're all playing baseball together and they're all on the same team. And so I'm sure it's just, welcome to the show, my friend. You're just gonna be like, when did Fee get those pants?
Oh, she has. It's so funny. She has a pair of Tony's son Austin. She has a pair of his underwear, like that. She's like, I haven't seen it, but like not willing to give back just because she was like soaking wet. We didn't have a change of clothes, and he's like, "Here, take some."
Take these. It's good stuff.
Funny.
All right, what else? What you had something? Then we'll close.
Oh yeah. Speaking of men being 12, so Sophia's knee's been bothering her a little bit, and where's the text? And so she's like, yeah, it's like, it just feels like right underneath the kneecap, feels kind of tight. I think she said I think she WebMD it, patellofemoral pain syndrome or something like that. But she ended up going to an orthopedist or whatever yesterday, just get it looked at. Said kneecap is tracking literally inward to legit kneecap caving in. So she has a brace to push it out, but she needs to strengthen her inner quad. So at the most, just stuff's out of alignment, some imbalances here, and she needs to work on it. And she sent me, for listening audience, this picture of this x-ray of her knee.
Oh, nice.
It's this x-ray of your knee. You can see how it's kind of like shifting in. And my comment was just like, looks like a boob, a weird one, but one nonetheless. And then I was like, ... I'm 12.
And her boss, by the way. That's an HR. That's an HR job. HR jar.
Well, I think
right
you said a boob and not her boob.
Doesn't matter, my friend. You can't say boob.
It's an anatomy.
Nope.
I can't say.
Nope.
Oh man.
It's all right. If you had said, hey,
Okay.
Hey, you know what it might be? It's just that your femurs are abnormally long because you're femorally gifted.
Oh, see, that's better because I said she has right where boob knee.
Yesterday with the step ups, or the other day with step ups,
Yeah.
I was saying how Sam and Luis have that, like, it's weird. They're not that tall, but yet they can do the step ups on really tall boxes because their femurs are so long. And Jim Grady was there and he goes, oh, you mean they're femorally gifted? And I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious. That's so freaking, I mean, like, it was really, Kelly was like guffawing, laughing. It was so funny. Yeah. I was like, I'm so glad Jim Grady's back. That's my alternate. My alternate gratitude is Jim Grady being back and TJ.
It's nice to have a femoral face back in the gym, you know.
Boom, 2 for 2.
God, so good.
Get that man with something, and get that man a shield.
Oh yeah. Engage on the yeah.
Turn on the things, engage the thing, and get that man a shield. I just watched both of them again in preps for the end of the Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, you're gonna catch up.
They changed. Have you not finished it yet?
No, I'm still
All right,
behind.
I won't spoil it.
Okay.
They did awesome. That series,
Yeah.
Sam Mackey or not? That's not his name. His name is Sam in the show. I forget the actor's name.
Is it Ian Mackey?
That's not right.
What is it?
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Like absolutely awesome. The supporting characters they got to play, like from his sister, awesome. Like, and I'm very curious to hear the reviews or sort of the assessment of the show and some of the thematic topics they chose to cover. People's opinion on it, other than mine. But I was very heartened by how they handled some pretty heavy topics and still kept it very Marvel. So it was cool. It was impressive. That's all I'll say. Anthony Mackie. That's it. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
All right, cool. Well, that was fun.
Cool.
Oh, you know what? Dishwasher guy still not here. I give it at like a 30. It's 11 to 2 though, so he still has 2 hours. I give it a 30% chance of success that this dude shows up.
Yeah.
And that'll be 4 for 4 missed appointments.
Oh man.
You know what? It's more important though that the clothes washer did get looked at and the parts are ordered. So in 6 to 8 weeks, that should probably get fixed. I said in like 6 to 8
weeks.
No, 6 to 8 weeks.
Sorry, you called it clothes washer, and I don't think I've ever referred to as a clothes washer.
Well, what do you call it?
I just call it a washer or washing machine. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying you're
It could
wrong.
be a dish, but what do you call a dishwasher?
A dishwasher.
I call him Eric. Ba-boom.
I have the dishwasher at the house. And
Yeah.
What's your cap on like how many times do you get stood up before you say screw this, I'm going some?
I'll call the home warranty company first and just be like, what the funk? Like whoever you've contracted this out clearly is not working. And I'm kind of irritated. Why am I paying for this home warranty if that's what's going to happen? Like nobody's even showed up, but we'll see.
I'm sure they'll just add it to the file of people to complain about.
Right, exactly. Thank you for your $70 a month, and we'll expect the check later next week.
We'll do better next time. 3 appointments later.
Yeah. So in the end, whatever. I'm actually not that. I'm not that irritated. I'm not that concerned. It's just you get what you pay for.
Truth.
All right. Well, maybe someday I will see you on the creek. But
I hope so. I hope it's not another 5 days.
Yeah, I'll see you Friday. You'll be there.
I'll see you Friday.
Friday morning.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bright and early.
All right.
Cool.
For everybody
Later,
else, we'll see you
on the creek.
Well done.